Came back, I just turned off the music. I didn't even look. I didn't even look at it. That's a motherfucking bitch, bro. I feel like deleting this whole shit and coming on and making a new fucking video, bro. How long have I been talking? You gotta be out your mind, bro. That's a lot of time. You know how much shit I talked about? I guess I'm gonna keep the video going. I'll just go in and cut it or something. I'll figure something out. I oh man, bro. All right, look. What I was initially saying was this. Um, Tank Tank Davis and Frank Martin, I believe, have agreed to fight one another, right? And the situation is this. This is what the situation is. That it is rumored that Tank Davis agreed to this fight and took less money than he was offered to fight Devin Haney, right? Many people are starting to question that. Why would you take less money? They offered you almost double to fight Devin Haney, and he said no to it. Then, you got people like Eddie Hearns, doubling down on Tank when they see that the man is down. And he's cloud chasing off those stupid little comments that he made about Connor Ben. And that he sent him initially two offers, right? But you can't really do that when Tank's the A side. So I see what his promotional company, Ed Hearn and Matchroom Boxing, is doing. But you gotta remember who you fucking with. You fucking with a promoter. Is his job to promote his fighter. And good publicity or bad publicity, that's good for Conor Ben. Either way, right? And at the tail end of it, now Tank Davis is getting kicked while he's down. Because a duck, I can't call Tank Davis a duck. I'm not prepared to call Tank Davis a duck because he doesn't strike me the type of man that seems to be ducking anyone. He's a fighter. He's a real fighter. Whether or not he's been going through some bad promotional shit. Remember, he was getting out of that shit with Floyd, him and Leonard Ellaby, and now he was kind of doing what? Tank Davis promotion? Not sure if Tank Davis promotion got that kind of money to flip the bill or the fights that he should be getting. Now, notably, Tank Davis went on social media, criticized Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia for fighting. Where? In the Barclays Center. That being said, he said to them, yo, check it out. If you guys are fighting in the Barclays Center, that's a downgrade to your fights. Because if you guys were big, you guys should be fighting in Vegas. Because ain't no money like Vegas money. So I'm like, okay, Tank. So your next fight with Frank Martin, it's going to be in Vegas then, right? Because if you're criticizing Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia for fighting in the Barclays Center, which in fact Tank Davis got the biggest gate. He sold like 23 million or some outrageous number. At the door, he broke a record like at 5 million or some shit like that, 3 million or some shit like that, right? But overall, it was like 25 mil, right? So Tank Davis got that record. So according to him, I guess his fight with Frank Martin, even though a date has not been set, a time has not been set for that fight, nothing has been really set for the ghost Frank Martin. But what we do know, and a lot of people are in agreement, that that's going to be his next opponent. See? So, look, I understand what it looks like with Tank Davis. And I believe that Tank Davis has just been going through some shit in and out of the sport of boxing. Between the bracelet being put on him, the car accident, his baby mom situation, the tapes that we see him on social media where the cops are arriving at his house. I believe that Tank Davis has just been really going through some shit. But I don't think that Tank Davis is scared of anybody. I think he was trying to build something, and it really like just like he did with Ryan Garcia, and eventually, look, people, everyone got to calm down with him and Devin Haney. Okay, let's all keep it in mind that Devin Haney is like all of 25 fucking years old, right? So he has plenty of time. The one that's getting up there in age is Tank Davis. See, so I gotta see what he wants to do, Tank Davis. But um, for right now, all the noise between Tank Davis, Devin Haney, look, we can say what we want. I told you guys this year, right? Well, I didn't tell you this year. I told you last year. This year was going to be the year that you seen your favorite fighter lose, and be prepared for this year to shift really big. I said that coming into 2024, right? You've been on my YouTube channel. You know I've been telling my fans that, right? My subscribers and my viewers that 2024 is going to be such a crazy year. And what do I mean by that? How about this? How many of you have gone in YouTube lately and heard of anyone, and I mean anyone, talk about the pound for pound list, the top 10, not just the top two, not just Terrence Crawford and him. That's all they're talking about. I'm talking about where their 10 top 10 fighters go. No one is talking about a pound for pound list top 10. You know why? Who are you going to put on it? Both Charlo twins can't be on it. Errol Spence Jr. not on it. Who you got now? You see, it's radio silent. And I told you guys, coming into 2024, watch. You're gonna see. I called all of this. And to divert you from what's going on the pound for pound list, they're only talking about the top two. My personal opinion, and I've shared this with you guys, right? That I always felt that a pound for pound list should have been 5 fighters, right? It should have been the top 3 and the next 2 that are threatening. And I felt like that was enough. Honestly, I've told you, I really don't care who the number 8 pound for pound fighter in the world is. He's just a good fighter. The number 9, the number 10. They did that so that they could stretch out the list to get their fighter in there. There are all kinds of teams and promotional companies that also want their fighter on that list because it would boost up your fighter's career. Some fighters even publicly came out trying to discredit the pound for pound list fighters such as Keith Thurman, right? Of course, Keith Thurman's going to hate on anything, right? You know how he is with his slick talk, always trying to talk in riddles like if he's a rapper or something, right? Keith Thurman's listen, he's a class man, he's a class act, right? But these awards and accolades and what we view our fighters and the pound for pound list is an award that is given to the fighter from the people. We, the people, agree that your style is the best fight style in the world. That's what we vote on. It pushes men and women to want to achieve such status. And for a man to come on in his own sport and try to down that award, yeah, it sounds good from a man that's not on the list. You sound real confident. You know why? You ain't on the list. You ain't invited to the party, Keith Thurman. And that's why he shits on the pound for pound list. And a lot of other things, he just can't get in and play reindeer games. Oh, Keith Thurman's hurt, right? But that pound for pound list is sacred. It's just as sacred as boxing is. It's been around forever. And we, the people, back accolades and trophies like that, such as the Ring magazine. You wear that belt, you're the people's champion. Back then, anyway. Then it turned into the number 1 and number 2 fighting against each other. And the winner of that was, I guess, you know, the number one ranked top opponent that the champions, and they gave him the award, the ringside belt. Okay. So, in other boxing news, it's been said, and I saw the interview that I'm real happy for him. Subriel Matias signed with Matchroom Boxing and Eddie Hearns, right? And his next scheduled fight is allegedly in June, July. His hand is healing up. Teofimo Lopez tried to cloud chase. He was trolling him. He knew that Subriel had announced that his hand was injured. And right away, Tio says, I offered him a fight. He couldn't take it. He's scared of me. You let Teofimo Lopez tell the story. Him and his father have already knocked out Subriel Matias, and they've already walked off into the sunset with his belt. If you let those jokers tell it, right? Because it seems like Tio's just packing it on lately. Okay, I get it. I get the gimmicks. But at some point, you're going to have to back this shit up. Eventually, you're going to have to run into this man. And all that shit you was talking about, he's not going to hit me. He's too slow. I'll beat the shit out of Puerto Rican fighters. They're the easiest fighters. Really? Really? Okay. Okay. We'll see, Tio. We'll see. Look, um, Eddie Hearns has been criticized for a lot of things inside of boxing, but one thing he is a big player in boxing. When you can get the backing of a promotional company like Eddie Hearns that'll put up the money for your fights, maybe you'll get a promotional company because Eddie be rubbing with the Saudis. He can get that money. He can get that Devin Haney money. Yeah, he can. Now that Subriel Matias signed with Eddie Hearns, oh, that's big. That's big in a lot of ways. Now, the one people that don't fuck with Eddie Hearns really in the game, well, there's two. Oscar De La Hoya. No, in fact, Oscar De La Hoya does a lot of business with Eddie Hearns. It's Mayweather. Mayweather and then that don't rock with Eddie Hearns. You know, and see, Don King ain't even really in the picture really too much, but he is still pushing around that old motherfucker, right? Don King, he is, right? Um, Eddie Hearns works with a Golden Boy, and Eddie Hearns works with Top Rank. Top Rank don't like Eddie Hearn. You know, they each don't like each other. Top Rank don't like fucking with Eddie Hearns, but because Top Rank always likes to be the man. But nevertheless, he has a big backing. Now he has the type of money to chase down Devin Haney. Okay, he has the type of money to chase down Teofimo Lopez. I never felt like Rowley would ever want to fight Subriel Matias. I think he's going to stay as far away from that man as possible. Or he just no longer wants to be champion. Just get in the ring and give him your belt. You'd be better off doing that than fighting him. And you could save yourself a beating, you know? So that's where I see it. Look, as well, right? As well, um, I talked about this earlier in the video, in the morning video, and I did in fact in this video had the mic. I didn't press the mute button and didn't notice it. Oh my god, still stressed about that. But the show must go on, right? So, where was I? So look, that threw me off. Uh, I still think that. Oh yeah, I was talking about David Benavidez. David Benavidez's situation is a unique one. I explained it in a video this morning that while I was talking and making the video, a lot of options started to flood my head with David Benavidez and the fact that if David Benavidez now is reported that is in fact gonna move up to 175-pound weight division, and Arthur Benavidez and Demetrius Bivol fight, the winner out of that possibly could fight David Benavidez. And all the time that David Benavidez has stuck around the 168-pound division trying to chase Saul Canelo Alvarez to corner him in to fight him, somehow Saul Canelo Alvarez gets out of it every single time, right? But if he moves up to 175, the winner out of that, shall he say yes and fight the monster? Because there's a big opportunity at 175 for David Benavidez. There's no real big superstars there. And Benavidez, um, cleaned out the division. He doesn't have any no more opponents. After Demetrius, right here, Bibble, that's it. That's it. He cleaned out the division. So a new face with a big name, Arthur will fight the monster, David. Yes, I 100% I would bet on that, right? But I'm not sure if Demetrius Bivol would take the fight. I would love to believe he would, but if truth be told, I talked about this. He fought a much smaller Canelo Alvarez, and in his last fight, he was hit to the body. Remember, and he couldn't put that kind of opponent away. So it started to, you know, some a little bit alarms went off because if you ask me, had Arthur fought that guy that Bivol was fighting, I believe Arthur would have knocked that guy out. Yes. If you're asking me, yes, I believe he would have knocked him out. So that's kind of where I was like, right? So we'll see. Time will tell on that one, you know? But as of right now, I'm very happy for Subriel Matias. Hopefully we'll see some bigger fights, but I'm 100% prepared for this year for a lot of fighters to lose. And I want to see where a lot of fighters stand right now. Unfortunately, look, not even boxing's taking some of our guys out of the game. They're taking themselves out of the game. Devin Haney was in a close. Sorry, Tank Davis was in a couple altercations. Okay, Shakur Stevenson was in some kind of altercations, and let's not remember that the reason why David the Monster Benavidez is in the situation that he's in currently, right now, that he is not the 168-pound champion of the world, and the reason being is because of recreational use. They stripped him of his belt for testing positive for cocaine. David the Monster Benavidez. Okay? So some of these athletes leaving after boxing and they're doing a little bit too much. And unfortunately, that type of shit is taking some of our fighters. Losses are taking some of our fighters. And age is taking some of our fighters. See? And sometime we're not getting the fights we should be getting. We got some big fights coming up. We got Francis Ngannou and Anthony Joshua in March. You know, uh, Jack Cotterall and Josh Taylor. That's going to answer a lot of questions for me, depending on Josh Taylor's performance, because that's going to reflect Teofimo Lopez. And for how many people gave him so much status for being the man that beat Josh Taylor. But now a lot of people are starting to question because technically that would have been two losses in a row for him for for Josh Taylor. If they would have they felt like Jack got robbed. So I don't know. I don't know on that one, but he's got a second chance to prove it. And in this fight right here, in the back of his mind, he has to be thinking, if last time I let it go to the scorecards, this time, what do you have to do this time? If that's the way you lost last time, what do you got to do different? You're going to have to knock him out. So I don't know. I'm not sure that, you know, if Josh Taylor's still the fighter he once was, the verdict is out on that one. We'll see. We'll see. And then, you know, you got this guy right here, you know, and what can you say? What can I say? Look, if Terrence Crawford is serious about fighting Jerron Boots Ennis, that would also, I believe, would, you know, it would put him in a category because he would be doing what we could criticize Saul Canelo Alvarez for doing right now for the last past 5 years. Terrence Crawford would show the boxing world firsthand that just because you're aging in boxing, claiming that you're still that man, you still got it, to go out there and get it. By him, um, look, time and time again, we have been told a lot of things by a lot of boxers. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard boxers say crazy shit, right? And it never happens. We never get that fight, you know. Um, but I can tell you when I smell bullshit, like Eddie Hearn with Conor Ben, I was like, no, guys, don't do that. With Ryan Garcia and Nayoya, I said, guys, don't do that. With uh, um, Teofimo Lopez and Terrence Crawford, I said, no, guys, don't do that. Teofimo Lopez has no intentions on fighting uh, Terrence Crawford. And some of these guys sometimes say these things like Teofimo Lopez when he went on social media and he looked straight into the camera and said, Puerto Rican fighters are easy and I will beat any Puerto Rican fighter you put in front of me, and including Subriel Matias. Um, his father, Teofimo Lopez, his father came on and said that his Subriel Matias, his style is tailor made for his son, Teofimo Lopez, to knock out. Like I said, if you let them tell the story, they've already walked off into the sunset with Subriel's belt. Now that's going to be easier said than done, and I would like to see this. Now that Subriel Matias' hand is gotten better, and he's already negotiating on his fight. This will be his first fight run and promoted from the zone and Eddie Hearn and Matchroom boxing, right? So that'll be good. That'll be good. That'll be great. So I think that look, I'm not ready to give Devin Haney right now. The more I think about it, sometimes I talk a little fast, but when I notice it, I will be the first one to correct it, right? And wanted to say that Devin Haney is the best 140-pound champion of the world, but he only has one fight there. He fought the champion, yeah, but he only got one fight. So you can't really categorize him as the best 140-pound champion, right? If he hasn't proven himself in the division yet. He hasn't really fought any of the top guys there, you know. So I believe it's between now Teofimo Lopez and Subriel Matias. Teofimo Lopez has a legitimate title defense. Whether you feel that he won the fight or not, that doesn't matter. On paper, he has a title defense in the 140 pounds for his WBO title, and that's where we're standing. We're not gonna play this fantasy island shit or what if. What happened happened. I'm done. I'm over with it, and I'm ready to see more boxing. Um, and I believe that at one point, Subriel and Teofimo Lopez are going to meet. Teofimo Lopez is going to have to answer for that shit. And I bet you leading into the fight, they're going to use that as the promo, all right, to stir the fight up. And the one exciting thing about Subriel is bringing the fight back to his country, to Puerto Rico. It's beautiful. If you were ever an athlete or in any sport, and they got you to fight back in your hometown or your native country, that would be special for you, and it would make you feel like you have arrived. You got into the pinnacle of where you wanted to get at in your career. That could be, a real special occasion, even on a win or loss. The fact that you bring the fight to them, that you solidified that. Now, what would put the cherry on top is that you walk off with the W. Now that's what you got to do for yourself. You see, so yeah, I like the fact that he's getting good backing from a big promotional company, and now they can't push around the little guy. Now he got some backing. So yeah, I want to see that. Um so there this is where we stand right now as of right now in the calendar year for boxing. Look, I want to excuse me for my blunder. Uh, and I was talking on the video and I was saying right in the video I was saying to myself, um I've been making these lies like consistently because I've been trying to work out the mic situation, seeing that the fact that it does not sound like it does in the headphones, right? So the more I make it, the more I take off lives, and I've been taken down until I get it to like right where I need it, want it to be. It sounded right. So like in the beginning, I'm like, yo, help me out, tell me. And I got it on mute. That really threw me off, guys. It really did. Ah, let me read some messages. Somebody says, Jesus. It would be his hardest fight if it was to ever happen. Styles make fights. Styles make fights, right? Being the fact that Subriel Matias is such a powerful pressure, relentless power puncher. And the one thing that Subriel Matias can do is take a punch. And he's willing to go in there and to the fire with Tio's punching power. Although Tio does have good pop in his punch, right? Good snap to it and everything. If he catches you flush, he probably will drop you, right? I just don't think that he's gonna be able to get Subriel Matias like that. And once Subriel Matias starts to get the engine running, and we start to enter the third, fourth round like that, he just steps on the gas right there. And I think he's gonna start to break Teofimo Lopez down, and by like the eighth, ninth round, he's gonna be ready to go. That's how I see the fight playing out in my head. I think Teofimo Lopez has enough skill to make him go out into the later rounds with Subriel Matias. I just don't think that Teofimo Lopez got enough from the last five men that Subriel Matias may quit on their stool. Those were five tough dudes. Each of them coming in there, unbeaten records, knockout streaks, you name it. Subriel made them quit all five in a row. That's remarkable. I'd rather get knocked out or played out like I'm knocked out than to quit on my stool. That is embarrassing that you're going into a fight saying I'm undefeated. I'm one of the hardest knocking out people out there. They're just not giving me my opportunity. I'm gonna show the world. I'm gonna knock this dude out. I'm gonna make it look easy. And you quit? You quit. You know why those men quit? I gotta give it to them though, because the harsh reality of it, their head was probably throbbing like boom, boom, boom. And at some point in the fight, you taking all these punches to your head, your body's gonna tell you, and it's good that you recognize, yo, I'm not winning this fight. I'm tired. I'm hurt. Maybe you live to fight another day, you know? But it will take, to get a boxer to admit that, that's fucking crazy, right? But you gotta be smart. You gotta be smart. And then I'm not sure if the stigma of the fact that he killed the man in the ring played into a factor. Does that start to fuck with the fighter in their head? They're feeling their face throbbing in their head and they're saying, this is what that guy must have felt leading and he kept going. What if I keep going and that happens to me? See, that right there is going to follow Subriel Matias for the rest of his career. The fact that unfortunately, he fought with a man and he passed away, Mad Max, right? The Russian. And that I guess some of these fighters were like, and then the other fighter that they kind of made fun of, right? His last fighter that he said, my knee got tweaked. Well, in fact, in the fight, we were all Puerto Ricans. We was making fun of him. We was like, yo, he hit him here. And he said his knee hurt here. So we was cracking jokes. I later went back and watched that fight. He did tweak his knee. And he was in the corner going like this, and it was buckling on him. It legitimately was. And I was watching the fight again, and I was like, oh shit, it is. So yeah, I don't know what happened, but it played a factor in his performance too as well. But anyway, Subriel was gonna rock him anyway. It wasn't looking good for him at all. So, but yeah, you think he has a better coach than who? Is that what you said? Better hands as a better coach. The heart is like right there. That's his. Look, I've always said it's the fighter, right? It's the fighter that makes him a better fighter. Although coaching is key. It's fucking key, right? But if your fighter doesn't do what you're coaching him to do, you can yell at him all night. It's up to him to perform. Am I right? Okay. But well coaching is key, man. It is key. Without well coaching, your fighter will be nothing. That's true. Um, but what makes a fighter unique in their own way is that when they're out there in the moment, the selection of punches that they choose, the way they approach the fight, the confidence they have, and what they're seeing in the moment. There are different lenses and viewpoints in a fight. There's the fighter's viewpoint, there's the coaches and the corner's viewpoints, and the referee and the judge's viewpoints, right? But unfortunately, the only one you could really talk to is your fighter, right? So when your fighter comes back, you're asking him, what do you see? How do you feel? You know, does he feel strong? Is he, and then there's certain ways that you might have talked to your fighter before the fight, and you might have said, if I tap you here twice, that means if you're hurt, give me a nod. But now I'm not going to tell you verbally to say that you're hurt, right? Well, there's little tricks that they may employ because they feel like someone else is listening. Always coaches, right? But when you can be in a fight and you can be lost, your coach can pull you out of that if you have a great coach. Your coach can remind you who you are, what you guys trained for, and he can rally back into the fight. So it is important to have a great coach. So yeah, I agree. Um, look, do I believe that Teofimo Lopez is like Teofimo Lopez's head coach? Nah, nah, I don't. I don't think his father is his head coach. I think he claims the right to be the head coach. He wants to say a lot, but I believe Teofimo Lopez gets coaching from other outside sources and other coaches that he's been working for quite some time. I don't believe that Teofimo Lopez's father is this mastermind coach that he wants you to believe he is. That's why he ain't getting no Coach of the Year award or anything like that because it's like, how many fighters does he coach? It's not like Naoya Inoue and his father. Naoya Inoue's father is his coach. He actually is training his son. So I'm not sure if Teofimo Lopez, his father, is like that. I believe he has a hand in it. He participates. I believe that he might be responsible for guiding his son in certain points and stuff like that. But I don't think he has the coach's pedigree or the experience of some of these world class coaches. Hell no, hell no. He ain't no Freddie Roach, like a coach like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think so. Thank you, brother. Yo, man. I look. I stand to. I want to watch a lot of big fights this year, and like I said, a lot of guys are going to fall and lose this year. And I would like to see who the fuck is on the pound for pound list now. What these guys are saying about the pound for pound list now. Where are you going to get your 10 guys from? Who who are your 10 guys? Yo, I fucking love it. I fucking love it. I try to tell y'all shit was gonna change. It was gonna get real ugly real fast in a timely fashion. You know? And I look, first of all, let's address all rumors. First rumor number one, Terrence Crawford is gonna fight Jerron Bruce Ennis. If that actually was to happen, till that gets announced, it sounds too good to be true right now. Second rumor, David the Monster Benavidez is moving up to 175, right? His next fight in on the undercard, Demetrius Andre is supposed to be fighting it, and he's reported to be fighting the monster Ebenezian, right? Okay. Um, the next one is that Tank Davis criticized Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia for fighting in the Barclays Center. So according to Tank Davis, him and Frank the Ghost Martin should be fighting where? In Las Vegas. If they fight anywhere less, all right. So then you got Josh Taylor and Jack Carter Catterall, right? That fight is a rematch. Interesting enough, a lot's gonna be said out of that fight, and I'm gonna judge. I have to, because if Josh Taylor comes in this third fight in a row and like controversial fights, meaning the first one he could have lost, he straight up lost to Tio, and then he loses that's going to say a lot, and then it's going to take away from Tio. Mark my words. Mark my words, I'm telling you, because now people are going to start to realize, wait a minute, when Tio is doing luck laster good, he might have did luck laster, and just got away with one. You know what I mean? So that's I can already hear it. I can already hear it from now. And especially Subriel Matias is, because he's on that ass. Subriel wants that fight. Now that his hand, and like I said, Teofimo Lopez knew when to attack him when his hand was fucked up, and he said, "I offered him the fight real quick and ran on some kid shit." Right? It's fucking crazy what these grown men do. Yeah, it is. Yeah. But in March, we'll get Francis Ngannou and Anthony. I watched their interview. Oh, what's up? We got the donation. What's up? Get the fuck out of here. $20. Man, we gotta hit them off. Come on, baby. Round One Sports Talk. Thank you for your donation. My man. Yo. I appreciate you, brother. Not about boxing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for donating. Thank you for watching the channel. Uh yeah. Yeah, guys. You know, I I I I like some of the matches. I don't like some of them. Another thing is, I don't know what the hell's going on with Tank Davis and his career right now. I know he ain't getting any younger, and I would love to see him fighting top tier opponents or trying to unify these belts. The winner out of George Kamboza and Lomachenko, I believe Devin Haney should go maybe in that direction. I believe Devin Haney should stay off social media and start focusing more in on his career, because he's, like I said, he's not getting any younger. And if Devin Haney ever wants to be talk about among the greatest fighters in the world, which I always felt like he had the potential of doing it. But it'll be a damn shame if he retires and never accomplishes much. What if Devin Haney was to retire right now? Then what they gonna give him credit for? Technically, they can only give him credit for one belt. That second belt that they emailed him, he hasn't made it official. He hasn't won that belt in the ring. The WBA Super. He didn't win that belt in the ring. So, in order to solidify your championship, you got to quickly get in the ring and beat somebody. That way, you can respectfully be called the champion. You were never awarded that. They just upgraded you. See? So, if he was to retire today, being the fact that he didn't upgrade, he didn't properly become champion, the Hall of Fame just might not give him credit for it. They might. They might. But there's going to be an asterisk next to it and explaining his situation. But technically, he only has one belt. We've talked about this. They announced him as a 3-belt holder, but the other 2 belts were interim belts at 135 and 140. Those were not official completed world titles yet. So he only has one belt. And for as good as a fighter as he is, come on, Tank, baby. You got to step your game up. You can't be all this and saying, beating your chest, talk about you're the best fighter in the world, but you don't got none of the gold. You ain't got. I always said it. Tank Davis got to turn on the TV every time Devin Haney fights. He has to watch him live out his dream because Devin Haney dared to be great. He took less money to go out to fight George Camboza. He did all that shit. And now he has to watch him live out his dreams. That's gotta suck. That's gotta suck for real. Soul Fight fans, listen, guys, I gotta tell you, man. What do you guys think? Tank Davis took less money, it's a fact, to fight Frank the Ghost Martin. He was offered more money to fight Devin Haney. He said no. Am I prepared to call Tank Davis a duck? Hell no. No. No, I'm not. Whatever reason, whatever situation that they're in, I don't know what it is. Doug Tank Davis, he's not. I don't think Tank Davis is scared of any man. I do realize and recognize styles make fights. And it could be that Devin Haney's style gives him problems. Maybe he's saving him for last. I don't know. But what I do know is that Devin Haney is young as fuck. Devin Haney is like fucking all of 24, 25 years old. So he's young as shit. He has mad time. The one that's getting old here is Tank Davis. He's entering 31. Okay, he's gonna be going that towards that after this fight with Frank Martin. Where you think he's going? Like, well, he doesn't have all that much time, and I don't think he should be fighting fights that no longer don't have belts attached to them. I think that he's already proven himself as a fighter. Tank Davis should start solidifying his career. Really needs to start thinking about his legacy. Really think so. Um, as far as the Charlo twins and Canelo Alvarez and all this ploy that they're going, all this shit that's going around, man. I even went back and checked it again, and it seems like yes, in fact, Charlo twin is going to be Saul Canelo Alvarez his next fight on May 4th, and that's crazy. That sounds crazy to me. How he can criticize everybody else for doing everything else, but he's just not. It's just all a smokescreen. Oh, and until that, the boxing world or Canelo Alvarez retires or whatever, he walks away. I don't think anybody's that is deserving or that stands to be a threat. And if you're too good, he's not gonna fight you right now. That's what he's showing me. The fact that he did not sell out with the last Charlo twin, and now he's taking this Charlo twin, it doesn't make sense to me. But it kind of does because, well, one, He remains with all four belts and he stays longer. And when the history books are written at the end of the day of Saul Canelo Alvarez's career, what they're going to concentrate on is the amount, a length of time he had all the belts. Whether or not it's to your opinion, whether he fought the top guys or not, no. From X to Y and Z, the amount of time he held those belts, he will be given full credit for being the champion for that long. Yes, he will. Yes, and he knows that. He knows that. He knows that. Errol Spence Jr. right now is on record, on paper, for being one of the most um, longest reigning 147-pound champions in the world. And 3 of those years, he didn't even fight. And he's getting credit for it because he had all 3 belts. You do know that, right? Errol Spence Jr. right now is the longest reigning 147-pound champion in boxing history because the date counts from the time you have the belt until you lose them, right? So Canelo Alvarez is getting all that time. And when he goes down, he's going to go down as one of Mexico's greatest champions. And all Saul Canelo Alvarez at this point is doing is what Belichick did with the Patriots. He just wants to make sure that he really sticks it to Julio Cesar Chavez and fighters like that, Mexican fighters, that he ends up being the greatest Mexican reigning champion Mexico has ever seen. And if he has to cherry pick to get there for 5 more years to stretch this out so that his legacy is left, he ain't thinking about the backlash. He ain't thinking about everybody else. He's thinking about his name and where he's going to be standing amongst all the greatest fighters in the world. Saul Canelo Alvarez. What they're going to put up on that board. You're going to have to give it to him. What are you going to do? Stand in front of fucking the Hall of Fame and say, his record is bullshit. He didn't fight any of the top guys. That's not what it's going to say on the wall. Yeah. And that's what he's basically doing to go down as the greatest Mexican fighter to ever live. He ain't gonna give up them belts until he knows he passes certain dates. And you better believe, I bet you right now, in Saul Canelo Alvarez's room, he got a little fucking mural thing, and he comes out in his little silk pajamas, and he looks at it every day, and he goes, almost there. Fucking sucker. Yo, he's holding up everything, man. But I can see what he's doing. I can see what he's doing. And I can see that he's going to try to drag everything out and hold it. And I believe one of the smartest moves David the Monster Benavidez did, even though it fucking stings and it hurts to give up your place in line after chasing Saul Canelo Alvarez for this long. Yo, that fucking sucks, bro. You gotta fucking listen. David Benavidez gave up years of his life and his career. And the fact that he could have been a better champion in pursuit of chasing that man. And now you're just going to say enough is enough and fuck it. 5 fucking years you went around chasing this dude. And now he's just like, you know what? But where one door closes, another one opens. He will get another opportunity at 175. I hope he gets his opportunity and we'll see what happens when he's given his opportunity. Will he cash in on it? Only time will tell. No. So, yeah, yeah, definitely. And then we all know what I can't wait for, like most of you can't wait for. We got Naoya Inoue and Luis Naris, in Japan. Uh, That's just one spicy meatball, right? Yo, that guy, man, he is something else. And of course, I can't wait for that fight. I'm hearing now it's not on May 4th, that it's on May 6th somehow. Um, you know, I heard Top Rank themselves come out and say it was May 4th. That's why I was like thrown back a little bit. I was like, what? Because from where I heard it from, the fact that that guy would have made an error like that, I was like, but I guess so. I'm gonna go triple check that again. But it's in May, that for sure. And when we get there, you better believe I will have the date time locked in. There'll probably be a clock ticking down on my channel. If I could do it, I probably would. All right. I just can't figure it out yet. But anyway, guys, listen, man. Thank you for sticking around. Even though the episode, I kind of fumbled the bag on that one, little blunder. Thank you for staying with me. Um, Thank you for checking back in if you left and came back in. Sorry that I'm a little all over the place now because it kind of like threw me off in the flow of the show that I had. But once again, the show must go on, right? You know? And could before I leave, oh wait, let me answer definitely. I think Tank is the man at 135, and he knows that. So the people he fights are just people that agree to it all, his terms. The Haney's and Tank Davis have a lot of bad blood. A lot, a lot of bad blood. You got to understand those words that Tank Davis called Devin Haney when he received his WBC title over the mail. They called him an email champion. Yo, that set back Devin Haney's career almost 2 years. You know that, right? People didn't want to fight him. His father couldn't get him fights because they started calling him an email champion, that he was a joke. And then people are using that email shit as an excuse not to fight him. Tank Davis fucked up his career with that one sentence, my man. Yeah, he did. If you don't know about it, you can check it out. Yeah, he hates Tank Davis for that, Devin Haney. So in negotiation with both of them, they must be like two cats in water. You ever see a cat in water? Right? Yo, neither of them, neither side wants to give in. So that's going to be a hard sale and hard negotiation. The shit talking, they've been shit talking to each other since the beginning of their career. So the shit talking is not what's going to get the fight. Money's going to get and I don't know what the fuck Tank Davis side is doing, but I do know that Devin Haney is a professional. Devin Haney has only shown me professionalism since he started his career. He said he was going to fight these fights. He fought the fights. They called him out. They asked for Lomachenko didn't deserve a shot. And he gave Lomachenko a shot when Lomachenko wouldn't give him a shot. That speaks highly to the type of champion Devin Haney is. He's been a professional the entire time. I can't say that about Tank Davis. For as much as I like Tank Davis, I am crucial on Mr. Tank Davis. But at the same time, I have to report and admit what's going on, what I see with my own two eyes, and obviously what he's doing. So, look, I like these fighters. These are my guys. They're American fighters. I wish some of them would smarten up. Wish some of them would turn around some of the bullshit and antics and they realize that they don't have to do these things to sell these fights. I always said this man has never said a word. You can't wait to see him fight. Why? Because of these. Isn't that what boxing's all about? It's that you better show me sport. This doesn't work in boxing. It never has. This what works in boxing. Listen, fight fans, I love you guys. Thank you for everything. You guys have been awesome, great. Um, and I'm on to the next video after this video here at Round One Sports Talk. Peace and have a blessed night.